Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to Synchronicity Web TV. I can't believe Synchronicity Web TV is back. Well, I sort of can, actually, because I have been doing Synchronicity University Masterclass. But, anyways, some of you know I used to interview astrologers and creative people and New Age people, and I haven't in a little while. And now, thanks to this beautiful person standing next to me, I'm back. I guess we're back. So let me introduce you to Yaviz. Yaviz is amazing. Yaviz has blessed my work in so many different ways. One of the ways, of course, is he is the artist who designed the cover of my book, Astrology Realized. He is also a very well known designer here in Indonesia, where we are right now, in Jakarta, where I am, and it's a hot Jakarta day. You'll see me fanning myself. But here in Indonesia, he is creative director of the Y label and Rod Hain. And he is also an astrologer, a spiritual guy, an amazing soul brother to me. And I'm super excited to celebrate with you, Yaviz. Thank you, Yaviz, for being here.
My pleasure.
And thank you for being family to me here in Jakarta. Like I said, it's hot today, but it has been a very comfortable experience. It's felt so much like home, and it really is a lot thanks to you. So thank you.
For sure. Because we've been connected for a while now online, so it should feel natural from the beginning. The first time we met at the airport.
Totally. And actually, Yaviz was a fan of my work for a while. And I remember I had posted something online, just like a picture of me, and he was inspired by that to create a work of art. And it was right at that time that I was looking for something to be the cover of my book. And it was just so synchronistic. And thank you. I mean, you're just so generous of spirit, and I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, I was very grateful and super surprised for sure when I saw my illustration at on the cover of your book. But yeah, I will be forever grateful for that. For sure.
And so, have you been doing like illustrating art for a long time?
Yes, I mean, I've always liked to draw, but then lately I also like to draw on paper and also on canvases too. But yeah, because of my busyness, I prefer to draw on paper. So that's when that's also the time when I decided to draw for you, and it all started from there. My new hobby to draw from paper, and then also using uh, Photoshop, which is like more mixed media illustration. Yeah.
So I know a lot of friends and fans out there. You do these, I mean, so many creative things. And I think to be an astrologer, in many ways, there is a certain creativity involved because ultimately you are bringing voice and bringing words to what is a symbol. So, absolutely, you need a poetic mind for that. And that can show itself in so many different areas of life. Yes, you have your designer label as well. I've seen you take that really from the beginning and run with it and become so successful with it over the years. But I know a lot of people out there are astrologers, are into astrology. So tell me something about your astrological journey. How did you start getting interested in astrology and how that's grown for you?
I mean, I've always liked to read, those things that you read on magazines when I were really young, and then it all started from there. But then in 2012, I was more curious at the time to learn more about myself through astrology. So I started to find materials online to learn about my own natal chart, and from there it sort of grew slowly. I sort of felt inspired to write more and more. Yeah, it actually started from with one sentence at the beginning, and I remember the moon was in Cancer, which is the home placement for the moon, and I think my first writing was "Our intuition wants to be heard," and I think you like that status actually. I remember. So from there, it started to get longer and longer and longer, and I felt more and more inspired, and that I decided to make that Yaviz astrology blog. So yeah, I think that's where it all began until this point.
Yeah, and Yaviz has these beautiful images that have a lot of like precise wording about what's happening, and especially in terms of the moon. You do
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like the moon.
Lately, the new moons and full moons. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know earlier, speaking of natal charts, you were telling me about how right now Saturn is moving through your
Has
10th
been
house.
has been transiting my 10th house after the Saturn return. Yeah.
And so here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. With the last full moon in Sagittarius, and which is where Saturn currently is, I manifested you. Which
Well,
is
here I am.
super magic. Yeah.
Yeah, totally magical, but I'm very much of the belief that really you are where you are supposed to be, like at any given moment. And that's true metaphorically, but that's also true like physically. Like when you travel, especially, you really can feel that sense of synchronicity because you're more aware of it. There's a heightened awareness of your surroundings. So you're more aware of how synchronicity is playing out. And me being here, like really, it is so synchronistic. Like the way that it came about and being in Jakarta with you is just, like I said, it's been
Yeah.
like being at home.
Magic. Yeah. Here
So
you are in physical form. I said Neptune. Neptune in Neptune has turned to reality because I've always seen you through the magic of screen, which is all about Neptune, the illusion of creating online videos too.
very Neptunian, yeah.
Very Neptunian, yeah.
So let me ask you, because I do have a gift for Yaviz, and I'll give that to him in a moment. But let me ask you about your creative process, about the Y label, all of that, like Rod Hain. I'd love to know about because a lot of people out there, I mean, they dream it. A lot of people dream it, right? And especially something I don't know about you, but for me, like I love clothes, and I dreamed when I was a little girl to design clothes, among a million other things. But then to do it is incredible. Like you manifested that in front of my eyes. He manifested a clothing label based on your creativity, based on your brilliance. So tell me a little bit. I want you to focus more on the creative process and how it is that astrology becomes part of what you are doing in this other creative realm of your life.
Well, it was all natural. The process actually, uh, as a as a creative, each creative person wants to express themselves in the best way that they can, and sometimes it's not easy to find the best outlet. Like with me, because I love to paint. In the beginning, I used to think, how can I express myself through fashion? Because fashion has also been an important part of my life. So I thought maybe I would incorporate my artworks into T-shirts because that's what people like to wear sometimes. But then it didn't really work out. So I started to look for other ways, and
That's amazing you say that because I really do think that risk is a big part of being a creative person. Being a creative person, and especially when you want to align that creativity with your prosperity, risk is part of the package, it's part of the journey.
yeah, to try new things until you find the best path for you. That's what I think. That's what you were trying to say for sure. Yeah.
And so you tried first this t-shirts and that didn't really work out, and so you kept trying different things.
Yeah. I started working at I started working at a family company which is based which is all about textiles, and that's where I found my inspiration to create the Y label, which was in 2011. I found fabrics that I thought would be great to use for shirts, and I tried them, and they look great. So it all snowballed from there, and I decided to look for the right people to work with, especially to create the first campaign, as we've talked about last night how it all began. How
And beautiful campaigns at that, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the first impression is very important. So I tried my best to create a good first impression, and I was lucky to be able to work with people that I really wanted to work with, the right photographer, the also model at the time, which came from London, and yeah, we created a wonderful first campaign, and it was successful, and it helped me a lot to promote the brand to retailers from there.
And so, how did you use astrology as part of what you're doing
In fashion, you mean?
in
Well,
fashion?
fascinatingly, the latest collection, my latest collection for the Y label is called Saturn Return 2017. So it is actually the very first time for me to really incorporate uh, astrology into my collection because well, it's actually what I've been going through as well, for sure. That's how, because I always like to go with the flow of what inspires me. So with the latest collection, I decided to use Saturn Return as the inspiration because I want to share with those who are not so familiar with astrology, with this transitional stage in our lives where we have to be, well, we have to take more responsibilities and be more aware of what we are, well, doing in our lives and where we want to go from this point forward once we reach that, well, yeah, the Saturn return age, which is like 28, 29, 30. And yeah, and I hope it in well, I hope it can inspire people to, aside from trying to look for, well, uh, the right inspiration or what to wear and what they want to wear as they try to take on the world. Yeah, with this with a new phase that they're coming towards. Yeah.
Yeah, and interestingly, like Yaviz, I think while you were designing this and coming up with the concept, you were having your Saturn return or had just had your Saturn return. And also right now, as Yaviz mentioned earlier, Saturn in the 10th house. Yeah.
Now it's late in the 10th house.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, it's almost moving into Capricorn. Yeah.
And so what's amazing is literally like tapping into that energy that's moving through your chart as
Yeah.
part of what you're putting out there in a big way in front of the whole world.
Yeah, it's the perfect timing for me to incorporate that into my clothing brand. Yeah.
I have presents for Yaviz. I want to give Yaviz some presents. So before I do that, Yaviz, can you take the mic and just again name what your websites are so that people know where to go to find your astrology and all your brilliance?
Well, I have three websites at the moment. My personal website is yaviz.com, and for my clothing brand is the Y Label is theyLabel.com, and for Rodhain is rodhain.co.id. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I am handing him a package and I want him to open it in front of the whole world and have a look.
Yes. My goodness. It's the
Still
book.
opening it. Yeah, not only that. Not only is it the book, but just you wait. Look at both of them.
My goodness, it's two.
Hold it up. Hold it up.
Ta-da.
It's the book in English and Spanish.
Yeah.
So it's the two covers, really. The same cover. This is Yaviz's Brilliance. I had put up this picture like years ago as part of my birthday. And this is my solar return chart of that year in the background. And he took that, he looked at that, and he made this beautiful, like heightened, super uber Nadiya version of me. And it just was perfect. It was perfect for what I was doing at the time. And I love how that just came together. And I hope that you love it. Like it's real. You did that.
I know, it's in person now. I mean, I've read the book, but to see this in person, oh, and with your signature. Thank you so much. This. Oh.
That's the English.
Yeah, the English.
Yeah. That,
I'll have to learn
this is Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah. Well, now you have the Spanish as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you
so
for
much.
being here.
I
And
know.
thank you so much for being my family here in Jakarta. I have loved Jakarta. I've loved the energy of the city and the people and the love. And you've been a very big part of the love and showing me a part of this city that I wouldn't know otherwise. And I just thank you so much for that. Thank you for standing with me in my hotel room in Jakarta, in the sun, in the heat. Thank you so much for standing here with me and for being such an important part of my journey and for sharing your sacred journey with me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia. And we have a few places to go today. Yes.
So thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this video has been a moment of synchronicity for you as well. So thank you so much. And I'll be back. Obviously, now I am doing interviews, and we're going to have a lot of fun meeting more astrologers and interesting people around the world. So thank you so much, and enjoy your moment of synchronicity.